Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're plugging in our headphones and really listening to the sounds that bring our favorite video games to life. We're going to dive deep into the science and the art behind every single explosion, every musical score, and yeah, every one of those super satisfying coin pickups that make a game totally unforgettable.
So let's just jump right in with a big question. What do you think really gives a video game its soul? I mean, we all talk about amazing graphics and super addictive gameplay, right? But there's this invisible force that's always there, shaping our entire experience from start to finish. And you guessed it, that force is sound. You know, it's so easy to think of game audio as just background noise. But that's not how the pros see it. Not at all. For top developers, sound is a fundamental pillar of design. It's just as crucial as the graphics, the story, or the controls. It's never something that's just tacked on at the end. It's a core system that helps make a game world feel completely, totally real.
And you already know this, even if you don't think about it. I mean, just picture it. That classic ba-ding when Mario snags a coin. It's instant, it's satisfying, it's perfect feedback. Or think about that tense, swelling music in an action game that tells your brain, hey, get ready, long before you even see the enemy. That's sound doing its job, giving you critical info and setting the entire emotional tone.
Yeah, this quote on the screen, it just nails it. Seriously, try it sometime. Play your favorite game on mute. It feels flat, doesn't it? Kind of empty, maybe even a little confusing. Good audio isn't just there to fill the silence. It's what makes the world feel alive and makes everything you do feel like it actually matters.
Okay, so how do developers actually build these incredible soundscapes? Well, it all starts with the absolute basics, the building blocks. We're talking about the audio files themselves. You can think of them like different tools in a toolbox, each one designed for a very specific job.
And the two most common tools you'll find in that kit are WAV files and MP3s. The best way to get your head around them is to think of a sprinter versus a marathon runner. One is all about that explosive, instant burst of speed, while the other is built for the long haul, all about efficiency. So, the sprinter. That's your WAV file. Waves are uncompressed, which basically means you're getting pure, high-quality, raw audio. This makes them absolutely perfect for sounds that need to happen right now and be crystal clear. We're talking about the sound of a footstep, a gunshot, or even that little click when you navigate a menu. When responsiveness is everything, you're going to use a wave. And then you've got your marathon runner, the MP3. Now these are compressed, which shrinks the file size down a lot. This makes them ideal for things that play for a long time, like the game's background music, or those ambient sounds of a bustling city or a creepy forest. You're basically trading a tiny bit of audio quality for a massive gain in efficiency, and that's super important for making sure the game runs smoothly without any hiccups. All right, so the developers got their waves for the quick stuff and their MP3s for the long haul. But how do those files actually get from some folder on a computer into the game, ready to make you jump or feel heroic? Well, that whole journey has a name. It's called the audio pipeline. And this little flowchart here breaks it down really well. It's a pretty logical process when you see it laid out. Step 1, you pick the right file, a WAV or an MP3. Step 2, you get organized and put it in a sensible folder, maybe something called player_sounds. Step 3, you have to tell the game engine the exact address to find it, that's the file path. And finally, step 4, you connect that sound to an in-game action, like the player pressing the jump button. The crazy thing is, if even one of these steps breaks, you get total silence. But wait a minute, this brings up a really fun question. Think back to the classic, iconic chiptune music from old-school Nintendo or Sega games. The files for that music were insanely small, way smaller than even a tiny MP3. So, what was the deal? How did they do that? The secret weapon was something called MIDI. Now, this is the key thing to get. MIDI is not a recording of a sound. It's more like sheet music for a computer. It's a set of instructions that tells the console's little sound chip exactly what notes to play for how long and using which built-in instrument sound. It was an absolutely brilliant and super efficient way to create some of the most iconic music in history without needing huge audio files. So whether we're talking about old-school MIDI or modern waves and MP3s, developers are always playing this balancing act. It's a constant tug of war between amazing audio quality and smooth game performance. And luckily for them, they have a few key technical dials they can turn to find that perfect sweet spot. And two of the most important of those dials are bitrate and sample rate. Let's break them down. Think of bitrate as the richness of the sound. A higher bitrate means better quality, but also a bigger file.
Simple enough. Then there's sample rate. That's all about the detail. It's how many little snapshots of the sound are taken every single second. More snapshots means more detail, but it also means your console or PC has to work a lot harder. So you see, the whole job is just one big strategic trade-off. If you're a developer making a big, fancy game for a high-end PC, you might crank those values way up. But if you're making a game for mobile, you're going to prioritize smaller file sizes and less processing work, just to make sure the game runs on as many phones as possible. It's all about tailoring the sound to fit the system it's running on.
Now, to manage all this, developers have a cool trick up their sleeve. They don't just listen to the sound, they actually look at it. They use this tool called a waveform. It's basically a graph that shows a sound's volume over time. It lets them see with their own eyes exactly where a sound gets loud, where it gets quiet, and what its overall shape is.
So why is seeing the sound so important? Well, it's all about avoiding a nasty problem called clipping. You've heard it before. It's that awful, distorted, crackly sound that happens when audio is pushed way too loud for the system to handle. The best way to think of it is like a blown-out, overexposed photo. It's just ugly and unprofessional. By looking at the waveform, developers can make sure those peaks never go into the red, guaranteeing a clean, crisp sound every time. But here's the thing. Even if you have the perfect audio files and all your levels are set just right, things can still go wrong. The final, crucial link in that audio pipeline is also the most fragile one, and it's usually the culprit when a developer is scratching their head, wondering why a sound has just gone silent. And 9 times out of 10, it comes down to one thing: the file path. Remember that address we talked about earlier that tells the game where to find the sound? Well, it has to be absolutely perfect. A single typo, one misplaced slash, or even just writing .mp3 when the file is actually a .wave, and the game engine is totally lost. It has no idea where to look, and the result is nothing, just silent.
So when that happens, do developers panic? Nope. They do what they do best. They troubleshoot. They go through a mental checklist, just like this one. Okay, is the file name spelled right? Check. Is it in the correct folder? Check. Is the path typed out perfectly, character for character? They just go through it, step by step, until they hunt down that one tiny error that's causing all the trouble.
And honestly, that right there is such a key takeaway. Making great game audio isn't just about knowing the cool software or having a good ear. It's about having that calm, logical, problem-solving mindset. It's about being a detective and hunting down the little bugs that inevitably pop up. So after all this talk about file types and bit rates and file paths, you might be wondering, why does all this technical stuff matter so much? Well, it's because every single one of these concepts connects directly back to you, the player, and the experience you're having. And I think this final quote just says it all, really. Understanding and mastering these fundamentals, it's not just some technical chore for developers. It's what gives them the power to control emotion, to build tension, to create pure joy, to give you that critical feedback you need to play well. It's how they build an entire world that feels immersive and real. And they do it all with the incredible power of sound. And all of this leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought for the future, doesn't it? I mean, right now, we've pretty much mastered audio that reacts to our actions. But what's next? As technology gets even smarter, how will the soundscapes of tomorrow's games start to adapt not just to what we do, but maybe to how we feel? The next great leap in immersion might just be a soundscape that actually listens back to us.